Welcome back to the Elias Macco Show. In this third hour of the program, we'll be with you right up until noon and the start of the Vashi Capello Show. Here's how we'll start this third hour of the show. Of course, Hamas releasing the 20 remaining living Israeli hostages yesterday. We also saw Israel starting to release almost 2,000 prisoners following the peace deal agreed upon from both sides. Major questions remain about the future of Hamas and Gaza, but this exchange of hostages and prisoners raises hopes for the ending of the deadliest war ever between Israel and Hamas. Let's go now to Israel, where we find Anna Ahronheim, is editor of Defense and Tech over at the Jerusalem Post. Anna, welcome back to the program. Listen, first things first, I want to get to what the atmosphere what is the atmosphere in Israel like right now over the course of the weekend and into yesterday?
Well, right now I'm in Tel Aviv. I came to Tel Aviv to actually feel that atmosphere that you're asking about. It's one of celebration, but at the same time, it's one of worry, because we're still waiting for 24 bodies of Israeli civilians and soldiers who were killed on October 7th. And it will take time. Gaza has been destroyed. It could be that there were hostages that their bodies are under rubble, and therefore it'll take time to find them, to identify them, and to bring them back. There could be even hostages that will not be found. Their bodies will not be found. So there is a lot of concern about that, because even though Israel was aware of of the difficulty in finding the bodies and bringing them back, they're still saying that, well, you agreed to bring them back, give them to us, or we will go back to war with you. And I don't think anybody in Israel wants that. I don't think anybody in Gaza wants that either. But that's the situation on the ground.
What do people believe on how it came to a deal? Is Donald Trump getting the credit on this one? Like, how do people describe the fact that we did get to this point, and there seemingly is a little bit of hope now?
Well, as someone who's not the biggest fan of Donald Trump, I'll put that right out there. I think a lot has to do with him, because it is seeming that he was able to push Netanyahu into a corner and say, "Chalas, enough," or as you say in Hebrew, "die, enough." Die isn't die; it's enough.
Yeah.
But Trump had enough. He had enough of war. He had enough of Bibi refusing everything, and Hamas refusing everything. So I think the different mediation, the way that Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff also brought the two sides together, showed that they were able to bring them to an agreement to end the war, to bring back the hostages, to make Hamas realize that the hostages were not going to do them any good. And I think that's what they understood. I think that the strike in Doha also made them aware that they're not going to be, safe. They don't have safe haven everywhere. So I think that unfortunately that strike in Doha, which was a really big issue for many people around the world, including in Canada, did push Hamas to understand that they need to agree to some sort of deal to release the hostages, especially the living hostages.
Now, you said to end the war there, and I just want to get to that. And if you really feel like the war is over, because there's over and then there's over. So how do you feel? Are you describing it as it being over?
Let's just say that my bomb shelter window is still closed. I don't think so. I think that there's still a chance. We also have the Houthis that are a wild card here. They support Hamas. They support the Palestinians. They said that their resistance will continue until Gaza is free. Well, Gaza is not free. So we'll have to see.
Let me ask you about what's next in Gaza from your understanding, and how the Palestinians move forward on this front. What do you think are the challenges on the Gaza side of things?
Oh, there's a lot of challenges. First, you have the challenge of reconstructing an entire enclave that has been, as the Israelis like to say it, brought back to the Stone Age. That's what the Israeli government had always threatened against Hezbollah, and they've done that to Gaza, not to Lebanon. So they have to rebuild all of Gaza. You have to rebuild institutions, schools, hospitals, roads, sewage lines, the most basic infrastructure you have to rebuild. And that won't be done unless Hamas is out of power. And Hamas is still in power. We're seeing them coming back in uniform with their RPGs and their guns and their arms. And Trump is saying, well, they're policing. They're bringing the situation under control. So is Hamas going to stay in power? That is really a big challenge. Israel said that if Hamas remains in power, that's one of the goals of the war, right? The war isn't done until Hamas is out, but Hamas is still there. So that's one of the major issues.
What has to get Hamas out? What has to happen?
Just like we saw with the Islamic State in Iraq, you have to get rid of the ideology. And that's the only way to get rid of a group like Hamas. Because Hamas is not just a group that's in power. It's an ideology that's embedded in a society. Now, how much support they have now after the war, after they brought such destruction on their people, we'll have to see.
What do you think, Anna, is the role? What will the role have to be of the other powers in the region? What are you looking for from countries like Qatar and Saudi Arabia and Egypt? What are you looking from the other powers in the region?
Well, Qatar, for example, we saw that they were able to bring this deal to the table and push Hamas to accept it. And you also have to bring in Turkey at the same time. You have to bring Turkey into the picture. They're also a major player. Egypt, which was under Muslim Brotherhood rule at a time, has put the Muslim Brotherhood, which is Hamas, to make it illegal. And so Hamas and Egypt don't get along. They go head to head with each other. So Egypt, I believe, is going to be more amenable to what Israel needs rather than Qatar. Qatar supports Hamas. Qatar gives them money in suitcases, cash in suitcases. So we're going to have to see if Qatar can really come around, if Turkey can come around and follow through with the deal and pushing Hamas into moving forward, disarming and leaving power. But I don't think that's going to be the easiest thing to do.
Anna, before I let you go, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about, how has it been for you to report on everything going on during the war over the last couple of years?
It's been hard. It's been very hard. I remember at the beginning of the war, I was 7 months pregnant and I gave birth during the war. My sister even came in. She flew in. She's like, I'm not missing this. And she was here. And so knowing that there is still support was very important, not just family support, but support from people, even in Canada, especially in Canada, to know that they have our back. And this is something that I think every Canadian has to know, every Montrealer needs to know, that the Israelis are not, carrying out a genocide. We didn't want this war. We don't want war. We want, to have our kids go to school and go to the playground and go to the beach and do everything that Gaza kids should do also. And now that the war is over, finally we can all do that.
Anna, we'll leave it there. I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning. I do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Anna Ahronheim there, editor of Defense and Tech over at the Jerusalem Post.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years.
And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.